to the concluding remarks. Dottie begins, 3 minutes. And you're on the clock.
All right, hang on one second. I just want to pull out what I have kind of prepared for my conclusion. Thank everyone for coming tonight, and to thank the Central Valley Democratic Club for providing a platform for all of us to really discuss the issues that are affecting not only our community but our nation. I believe in the Democratic Party's platform that myself and fellow state delegates have worked very hard on putting together. I am a proud, adamant supporter of Medicare for all. I am a proud supporter of women's rights and for equal pay. And I believe in taking a humane approach to immigration reform. No human is illegal. Our dreamers' fates still are left hanging right now in the balance, and we need to act for them now and push for that Clean Dream Act. I know there's a lot of lack of trust in politics, and we must do what we can to change that. We need to overturn Citizens United and get money out of politics. We need to have people represent people. I am proud to say I am a clean money candidate. I will not be owned by representatives that have come like representatives that have come before me. It's time to rebuild that connection between Congress and people, and I stand with people. Together we can shine focus on what's going to build our economy and improve our lives to create the most welcoming and safe community. We need to stop looking at people as members of voting blocks and respect them as actual human beings and as valued members of our society. We all come from different backgrounds, different lives, different goals, but at the end of the day, when we're at this dinner table, we just want to know that we are living, that living a safe and secure life is still available for all of us. So as a nurse, I took that Nightingale pledge to devote myself to the welfare of those committed in my care. I have taken that oath with me into every part of my life and will continue to do so in Congress, where I will serve and advocate for our district with compassion, dignity, ingenuity, and continue my lifelong commitment to serving people. The truth is, we stand here and wax poetic about the situation we're in, but it's time to get serious about the challenge at what's ahead. Jeff Denham's spin machine has been at work, and his playbook is wide open and ready to be used. It's time for us to be energized, organized, and mobilized. Thank you.
Suze Wallen, 3 minutes.
Thank you very much, and thank you, Jessica, for organizing this event and for all the people that work to make this happen. Participation in the process of government is crucial. You all have a very important decision to make on June 5th. Running a business is nothing like governing on an elected body, where you are one vote and you answer to tens of thousands of constituents about issues that impact their daily lives and involve spending taxpayer money. I've had this experience with 30,000 plus students and their parents, and with a $350 million budget and 4,000 employees. Voters have trusted me with their children. As an ER nurse, residents have trusted me with their lives. Trust is what we need more of in Congress. Defeating Jeff Denham in November means electing someone in June who can, within a district that is almost evenly split between Democrats and Republicans, I am the candidate who can do that. As a lifelong resident, my connections to voters in this district are deep. They cut across all party lines. This is the year of the woman, and Mr. Denham knows it. He also lies, and then he hides. I'll explain that. At the town hall meeting in Denair, he said he would vote one way, and then he did the opposite. Then he refuses to face the people and the media about it. In contrast, my willingness to be available to the Modesto Bee and to all media when I was on the school board, I gave them my cell phone number, and I promised to respond as soon as possible and to give a response every single time. And at times, on that 8 years, it was a daily occurrence, especially when there was major issues happening in our very community. That's part of the job when you are elected by the people. Please join me, and I ask for your support. And with your support, we will win. Thank you.
Josh Harder. 3 minutes.
First of all, thanks so much to Jess and Jeff and Chris and everybody else for putting together so many great debates. And for all of you, for all the energy and enthusiasm that you've brought to here. The issues in this campaign and the misrepresentation Jeff Denham has given to this district are crystal clear. On health care, we have a district with nearly 50% Medicaid coverage, and a congressman who voted to take away health care from 100,000 residents here, including folks like my brother. We have a district where immigrants are the economic and social fabric of our community, where we have thousands of Dreamers and DACA recipients who are being told they're not welcome. And we have a congressman who at every step has stood against comprehensive immigration reform, including, unforgivably, just a couple weeks ago, when he voted very cynically to not even to bring up the DREAM Act to a vote on the floor of the House. But we're not going to win this campaign just by a contrast campaign. I want to present a more positive vision for what the Central Valley can become. And that has to start with economic opportunity. I think a lot about the old Tri-Valley Grower Cannery, which is still around on the outskirts of Modesto. When I was growing up here, that cannery had 10,000 jobs, good middle-class jobs. Today it has 2,000. 80% of those jobs have been automated or outsourced just in the last couple decades. What can we do about it? We can put our head in the sand. We can hope that this trickle-down economic plan that's never worked before in the past might finally work here in the Central Valley. I don't think anybody in this room, and most folks in this district, think that that's actually the answer to our economic realities. What we got to do is we actually have to focus on investing in education and infrastructure where it's needed most. I was at a high school the other day that takes 100 kids at risk of dropping out, teaches them how to install solar panels, how to drive a forklift, how to operate a robot. Those kids graduate, they get a job at $20 an hour the day after they graduate. It's fantastic. We need to make sure that that's not the result of just one heroic superintendent in one school district, but that programs and solutions like that are the answer everywhere, and that it's simple and easy to do. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to build that campaign on healthcare, immigration, and jobs. And guess what? It's working. We've raised close to $1 million. Every single dollar from an individual. I also will not accept any money from corporate PACs. We got to run this campaign grassroots. That's the way our democracy should be. That's my values, and I'm trying to act for it. We raised more in the first 6 weeks of our campaign from folks giving us a small amount of money, a couple bucks, than Jeff Denham raised in the first 6 months of his campaign. And second, we know that we got to make sure that we have the grassroots energy behind us. And I'm most proud of our anti-endorsement by Paul Ryan and Jeff Denham. If they're getting pretty angry, we're going to make sure that we're headed in the right direction and keep it up. Thank you.
TJ Cox, 3 minutes.
Thank you, everyone, for coming tonight. And thank you once again to the Central Valley Democratic Club for hosting us, and Jeff Jardine, our wonderful moderator. You know, this election is going to be about so much more than Democrats versus Republicans. It's going to be about who we are as a nation and who we're going to be in the future. Now, each of us out here tonight, we're all good Democrats. We're proud to be the party of inclusion. And all of you here are tonight because you know that our country is headed in the wrong direction, and you're prepared to do something about it. The stakes are so high in the upcoming election. They're high in every election, but in this one, they could be measured in terms of human lives, of the millions of Americans who are going to be thrown off of health care for themselves and their families, for the thousands of immigrants who are going to be torn from their homes, from each and every one of us who are going to see our social safety nets shredded. There's too much at stake to think that money alone is going to be enough to flip the house. What it's going to take is people. It's going to take each one of us. It's going to take each one of us working to become the change we believe we can be in our district. And what it's also going to require is a candidate who's got a proven track record of leadership and accomplishment here in the district. Now, all of us here tonight, we have aspirations on what we'd like to see in the district, but on Monday morning, I'm going to go back to work in making those aspirations a reality. I'm going to go back to working on health care clinics for the district, for the new affordable housing project down the street, for the new almond processing plant to serve our local farmers. I'll get back to work, and that's what I do every day. And my commitment to you is simple. In Congress, I will never forget that I work for you. I'm going to take the work ethic that my parents instilled in me and the grit that I've developed over the years working here in the Valley, and I'm going to use those experiences to fight and work for you. Just like I fought for Emily to go from fast food to the middle class, or Donna to go from a wage earner to a business owner, or Sergeant Major Alvarez to go from a Marine to a budding entrepreneur. Now, the new year is also a hopeful year, and we've got loads to be hopeful and excited about. We know we can win when we stand up for progressive values. We know that we are the real American majority. The majority knows that healthcare is a human right, that immigrant rights are our rights, and we need a tax plan and an economic plan that works for the middle class. This is a race I know I can win. I'd be honored to have your trust and support. Thank you.
Virginia Medueno, 3 minutes.
As you and I, as we make our choice for who will represent our community, because our current representative is absolutely not, let's reflect on the most important factor. Who can help to bring our community together and build a coalition of broad support to get a victory in November? We must look at how we as Valley residents can work together for the good of our entire community, because clearly our current representative is not. I promise to work as hard as I always do to continue to connect the people of this community. I'm proud to say that I have worked for over 30-some years. I know I don't look that old, but I worked for a very, very long time in helping to work in building our community. When I take a look at how this valley has fallen behind, when I take a look at the history of when the salaries of this district, of this valley, used to be comparable to the Bay Areas, those days are no longer. I am proud to say that even as my record in the city of Riverbank in helping small businesses to grow and to flourish, to be with Dr. Craig College from the United States Army at the Pentagon and negotiating with him, a small town mayor, what could she possibly bring to the table? Well, ladies and gentlemen, what I bring to the table is my energy, my drive to make my community better. As I've mentioned before, I am the proud daughter of immigrants who came to this country looking for what? For an opportunity. They came here not looking for a handout, but looking for how they could make a better community for me, for my brothers and sisters. And I look at the sacrifices that were made by them. I look at the sacrifices that continue to be made by so many of us in this community, and what we want is we want jobs, protection, health care, the right to stay in this country, a country that many of us, many of our DACA kids, that's all they know. I am probably the only one on this platform who knows all too well about all of these shared values because I've lived them. I know what it feels like to lose property as a result of foreclosure. I know what it feels like to feel the pinch of taxation. I know what it feels like to lose employment. I've lived that. I will be your advocate here in this district. I will be your advocate in Washington, D.C., and most importantly, I will be your advocate that is going to represent the values that are most important to all of us as residents of this valley. Thank you.
And finally, Mateo Bedoya.
I want to express my deepest gratitude to people in attendance tonight, the Central Valley Democratic Club. Tonight's a particular honor for me because, let's face it, my presence here, it's a bit unlikely. About 50 years ago, my grandfather in the state of Jalisco, Mexico, started applying for recommendations so that he could at least be considered to be inspected to be a bracero. He made his way to the border and then legally was accepted to take part in the United States guest worker program. He would later on go on to have a daughter who became a public school teacher. That's my mother. And 40 years ago, my father came to this country, met my mother, and pursued that same American dream that my grandfather came to this country with. So I don't have, 150 years or many generations of family here, but in the Americas, yes. We have very real issues here in this district. That's with affordability, economic opportunity that's hard to grasp every single day, and youth flight, because it's hard to come back here with the diploma and debt in one hand and very low economic opportunity. I've been talking to people who have to make very real decisions and very difficult decisions about do they pay their rent this month, or do they risk eviction and pay for gas to get to work, or even tuition for that matter. Or people who have to, from all ages, not just seniors, we like to throw out seniors, but who depend on medications, who lived on pensions and fixed incomes, and have to figure out how to balance those needs. If you're from here, you know what it's like to work hard, but you also know what it's like to be ignored. And you know what it's like to be taken for granted come election year. The incumbent represents everything that's wrong with Washington, and his votes do hurt this district. In 2013, he voted to shut down the government because he doesn't care. He gambles with the National Flood Insurance Program because developers are his friends. We need to do the opposite, and we need to know who we serve. He goes after truckers the past 3 Congresses to try and keep them from suing for minimum wage. And he gives out corporations a 50% tax cut. Please tell me when's the last time you got a 50% tax cut? Instead of defunding health clinics, we should be funding them. We need to extend funding for the Children's Health Insurance Program and actually serve our homeless veterans. Working for the House of Representatives, I learned to actually get things done with government. And government's not going to solve all your problems, but it needs to not stand in the way. And I call this community home. It's not a second choice for me, and I didn't require a transition effort. So if you think that everything's okay, that Jeff so-and-so has served you well, that there's no reason to change, then I'm not a good candidate.
10 seconds.
But if you're unsettled, you think that things should be shaken up, you've had it, it's time for a change, I'm a very strong candidate to represent you in Congress. And these next few weeks, when I ask for your vote, I'm hoping to win your trust.
Time.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you to all the candidates.
I am so impressed with these candidates. Please, let's give it up one more time for these candidates. Now, I like that. Thank you, everyone. So the candidates were absolutely amazing. We appreciate them coming out. They don't have to come to our debates, right? Jeff Denham is not going to debate us necessarily. They came here because they believe in what they're saying, they believe we can win, and they believe that they need your help. So please go ahead and do us a favor and get a ballot from the front, or if you have yours in your program, please vote for your candidate. Leave comments, again, only constructive comments. Just one last time, I want to tell everyone, Jeff Jardine did not have to help us at all. He graciously donated his time for 3 debates. He's an amazing person who's just being here lended so much credibility to what we were trying to do. So thank you so much, Jeff. Finally, I will say that when you are turning this in, if you want to fold it in half and put some cash or a check inside of it, I will gladly take your money, and we will use it to get the next wave of Democrats elected in this county as part of our Blue Wave program. Please join us tonight. Some of the candidates will be joining us. I know I'll be having a drink really quickly. Right at Ralston's Goat, they sponsored an event for us recently, providing food for 100 people so that we could earn all of the profits from that event. We'd love you to go and support them, mingle with the candidates, mingle with each other, have a cocktail. Ralston's Goat is right down the street. You can follow me running down the street. It's on the corner of 10th and J. Finally, I would just like to remind you to please come out to our event on April 7th. We really need your help to not just win this election, where our candidates will be there. I'm going to make them come. It's okay. They don't know yet. But please come help us to elect all of those representatives, our Board of Supervisors. Let's get rid of Jim DeMartini. Let's get rid of these terrible Republicans. Let's get Modesto and Turlock. Let's get them to be majority Democratic. We can do that. Every single one of those things can happen this election. So thank you so much. Stay politically engaged and stay friendly on Facebook, on Twitter, in real life, right? Stay friendly, stay courteous, because we can't win unless every single person here finds a way to get along. Once one of these candidates is selected, live with it. Okay? I mean it. They might have been your second choice or your 6th choice. It is what it is. Every single one of these candidates I would be proud to support in November against Jeff Denham. So please remember that when you're in a 2 a.m. Facebook off with someone else, that we are all in this together, and we have to remain civil and be the party that goes high all the time. Not just when it's convenient, not just when we can win an election, but all the time, because we are the party of values and we mean what we say. So please remember that, and everybody walk out of here, leave quickly because we're paying by the minute now, and walk directly to Ralston's Goat. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Sorry.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.